Okay, good afternoon, folks. March 5th, 2019. We're at 12:03 p.m. First, we're going to review oil real quick. There's not a lot to review at this point in oil. So I'll do that first, and then I'm going to look at all the swing equities that we've been looking at over the last few months, even things like gold. I'm going to review a few of the commodities, but equities, we want to really take a good, strong look at equities today. So it's going to take some time. I don't know exactly how long. It might be an hour, hour and a half, but we'll endeavor to get the video out tonight. Quick updates. The one thing is that I've got a real busy household here today, so you'll hear a lot of noise, but that's fine. I'll just work right through it. I've got a couple of workers here today and some family. So the other thing is a real quick update to the machine trading for oil and the alerts. So sometimes you'll find that we'll have pockets where we won't be alerting as much because internally we're dealing with a fair amount of workload, and that's what's been happening here today and last night. We were in a heavy coding session last night. The short of it is that we have a series of protocols that we're publishing today, and those protocols all have to be coded properly so that our clients, when they're triggering their trades based on an alert that references a protocol, we want it to make sure that that software matched the protocol publication that our clients are getting so that there is no confusion. And that's a pretty significant task, actually, when you have, we have over 40 protocols, but you end up with really about 400 in little pieces all over the place, and you got to consolidate it all and make sure that the actual publication matches the actual code, so that we just don't have a bunch of confusion. I think you get the point. So that protocol publications go out tonight, and the code is finished, but it's a pretty massive undertaking. So like everything else, we just didn't quite realize how much work was involved, but we'll have it all done and out tonight. And this video from midday we'll endeavor to have out tonight. It might be as late as tomorrow, but it's going to be an important video because we're going to recap all the equities, because I've got a bunch of new equities coming down the pike starting in the next 24 to 48 hours. We want to start the new swings. So I want to review all the swings basically for 2019 and then look at the other ones in the next few days. Now, one other quick note, not only do I have a full house today, but I have a bulldog that sometimes when I'm speaking needs to speak himself. So if you hear the grunting in the background, that's him, but he likes to think that he can speak human. Okay, so oil. Trading 56.46. We didn't get in that move this morning. That's one other quick update. So Jeremy and I have been doing the code updates normally early in the morning, starting around 4 a.m. until I'm preparing for pre-market around 8 a.m. What we've noticed, and I mean it's obvious, it's a duh move, but for us it worked for our schedule. But we've reorganized our schedule so that we're doing them from 8 p.m. until midnight now, because normally the moves don't happen in there. We wanted to update only weekly, but the reality is we have to update daily until the changes aren't so fluid. So we need 4 hours a day to update. So bottom line is we're going to be updating between 8 p.m. and 12 midnight every day. So if you don't see alerts in there, that's why. And if you can't get a hold of us, that's why. So we're going to take our afternoon breaks at 2:30 p.m. Eastern until 8 p.m. and that'll be our alone time, time to get things done, get sleep and stuff. And 8 p.m. to 12 p.m. we're doing our code updates so that we can make sure that we're watching over the software triggering, and I can personally trade properly, during peak hours, pre-market, and even the overnight session and futures as various markets around the world open. So those are your updates. I'll come back here in 10 seconds. So let's take a really quick look at oil. So the 1 minute model we've been using quite a bit. The other models, you have a number of them, and you're going to have the protocols all out tonight. But for today, oh, and I was going to say the 1 minute I really like. It's been for me, it's been my go-to. That and the Epic model. There are 4 or 5 others that I really like out of the batch that you're going to see tonight, but we'll cover those tomorrow in midday. For today, I'm just going to cover the 30-minute chart, the Epic model, and that's what's on the screen. So the target for today for API is in play. That's the red target above. Don't plan your trades on these. This is just more of a so you know kind of a thing. So 56.95 is the high side target, and then your low side target is down here for the down channel at 55.51. And then into EIA tomorrow, the down channel target is 55.23. Now these are really predictable. The Wednesday EEI, it's either going to hit that bottom one or the top, and the top is at 57.24. So that's your range. Your range going into 10 tomorrow for EIA is between, well, let's call it 57.25 on the high side, and now this is rate for that timing, right? 10:30 tomorrow morning, and 55.22. So if it starts trending down channel, you know where it's going for, a high probability. Not every week, but and if it starts trending up channel, you know where it's going. Now our bias is to the up channel, and our bias is for a fairly active trade period between API tonight and EIA tomorrow. And we're hoping to get right up into this longer swing range for the week into the 58.07 range, and then come off for EIA. So that's our general thesis right now. That may not occur. It could be completely the opposite, right? So you got to be able to refer down channel. And this is the Epic algorithm model that started it all. And this is in the bundle package in the reports. So if you're just getting alerts and you're wondering what the heck this is from that bundle package. So right now, the way that you trade this is basically your mid line here between the two is 56.25. So that's your main pivot. That's your main support. So 56.25 is your main support, and you can see how it came into support. It's pivoting around it here, and that's how it works. This is the mid quad line, this green line. And that's the main pivot on this trading range. And you can see how it reacts to it. You see there where it was resistance, there it was resistance, came off, got above, hit the quad wall. So anyway, you get a feel for how this works if you're not aware of it. On YouTube, there's some videos that we've done, and then you can look at historical reports too. Our general thesis is that it's going to use this as support. So as this falling wedge builds, and then into API, as long as API isn't crazy, but even it doesn't really matter. It should use this as a falling wedge, and then spike up into EIA tomorrow, and even maybe the top of the quad there that I showed you before EIA, and then drop into that target for tomorrow. So that's the general idea. Completely the opposite is possible, and you got to keep that in mind. So generally speaking, that's what we see for oil. And just to reiterate, you'll see us non-active between 8 p.m. and 12 p.m. every day for code updates, but very active now in the overnight session after midnight, and while all the other markets are opening and active, and into the American pre-market and American Open. Okay, so there's that, and what I'll do is, I've got a visitor walking up, sorry. Actually, Rich from Sovereign is walking up to my door right now. So I've got a real full house here. Unfortunately, I'm going to go into equities after I say hi to Rich really quick. I'm going to let him know that I'm in this session. So I might be gone up to 5 minutes here, but I'll be right back. Okay, thanks for your patience. Just had to say hi to Richard from Sovereign there quick. And we're going to do equities now. By the way, if you're reviewing this video and or new to our service, Rich from Sovereign is building a hedge fund and machine trading for traders, and also the app. So they're using our data and our technology. So things are pretty exciting. It's going to be a really exciting 2019. It's been, you know, 2.5 years of development at a grassroots level. I tell you, what a trip. But anyway, we're on the other side of it now, and the next 2 weeks will be really big. We're about 2 weeks away from absolute automation. So we're so close. It's really cool, actually, to finally come to fruition. Anyway, let's get into Anadarko Petroleum. So these are the equities and some commodities, and these are the plays that I'm either in or watching. So Anadarko APC, there was an alert that went out on this recently, full trade setup posting on it on the blog. And what we're watching for is for this area to hold here. It's trading 44.35. I haven't triggered yet. But our general target, if this holds and history repeats, is in that 76 area, and that's for around February of next year. I really like the setup. There's a ton of symmetry. You can see it quite easily, and it's just got to do with this area holding. So we're waiting for our triggers on the lower time frame to come in, and we'll alert it once it does. The next one is TerraForm. TerraForm, I don't know why I'm having a hard time saying that, reports in 5 days. And also, I got to apologize, I'm a little bit distracted today. There's so much going on, but I'm gonna push through this, because at the end of the day, some of these are going to trigger here right away, and we're going to be in them. And I want to clear the way for the new ones that we want to get going into this new time cycle. So we're going to start reviewing the new ones tomorrow. I already said that though. But anyway, 1260, it's trading. It's up a little bit today. It's got earnings right away. We've calculated an algorithmic channel that if it gets bullish on the other side of earnings with a target, it should follow. If it doesn't follow this channel, the most important thing from that report, there's a specific report on this also. All you do is you wait for the next earnings and you move the channel over and just wait for that to hit. The reason why we're expecting it to be this earnings is because this is a weekly chart and there's a 200 MA and it's getting really close. And if it's going to fire, it's going to fire when that 200 MA comes in. It's getting close enough now, and trade is progressive enough toward it that should fire. Now that target is right in the 25-17 range for May of next year. I would be stunned if this play doesn't work. I like Anadarko a little better at this point, but TerraForm, I believe, is going to fire. It's sitting on top of the mid quad too, by the way. So this is really decent support in here. So that's TERP, TERP. Home Depot, this is one that I've been watching and I spoke to Maven about this morning. She's watching it close. This is a 240-minute chart. Her and I talked about the different time frames. She really likes the 240-minute time frame. She's watching this time cycle completion here, March 25th, 26th at 4 a.m. So this is coming soon, and the reason she's watching it is she's expecting a bounce off of this 200 MA and up through this target rate here at 190.95. Now Maven's got a pretty good hit rate, and if that hits, we both agree that right here at 200.28 is in play for April 29th. This one here for the 191 area, comes into timing on March 26th. And then if that trajectory follows, then you're going to see 208.11 on June 12th at 4 p.m. So that's your timing if the bullish side actually progresses. I don't like it as much as Maven, but Maven's pretty convinced this is going to get that run. Okay, so here's the gold chart. Now, I got a lot of heat from the gold bugs during my posts on gold. All I can say that, this is a monthly chart. All I can say is look at, the sideways action in gold for many, many, many months. This is, this is a value store. This is not a great trading vehicle, but for our traders that do trade it, now, unless you're trading, your leveraged products and stuff like that, you can get a fairly decent return in. But I think you get the point. I started shorting it, and it's held so far. Am I adding to it yet? No. If I was going to do the ad, I would have done it right up in here, and it just didn't quite get there into that 1380 area. It's trading 1283.12 today. I'm trying to remember my short, but anyway, I'm well within the plan. This red line down here, this trend line at the bottom, that's your support. So that's where I would end up closing, and then maybe re-shorting. Let me see here. Where are we? Yeah, and then I had two more potential short areas. I just haven't got there, or trade hasn't got there, so there hasn't been a need to. I am not bullish at all on gold. I think that they're going to hold it inside of this structure. If not, I'll just short it all the way up. But I am not anywhere near bullish in gold. I don't see that as a possible scenario. In fact, as a scenario, I would see a possible breakdown, and I'm not joking. You have a potential of 718 as a support for gold if it breaks down. And I wouldn't doubt you see it. Sorry, gold bugs, but that's just the reality. That's Kurt's reality on gold. Exxon. So this trade has been going really well. Actually, we've had a decent swing trading year. It just hasn't been as busy as most years, but we're going to crank it up here into this new cycle that's starting here in the next few days. But it's been, it's been successful. Like we got into XOM down here in the 73s. We put out this report on it. We had a target here of 77.13 to come in on February 28th, and we've done much, much better than that. It's getting near the bottom of trading box, so you got to be really careful into 81s. It's trading 80.20. It's off just a tad today. It's up over its 200 on the daily. Super strong, and we have a target over here of 85.50. I was screaming this one from the rooftops. A few people triggered on it, not many. Because I talked to a lot of you, and by the way, if we haven't talked yet, I've got you on my list to, I'm making my rounds. I try and do my rounds every quarter and just check in with traders verbally, and so anyway, that's what I'm doing. By the way, the new legacy members that we have, if you have registered, I'm going to try and get everybody onboarded this weekend. There's a note going out tonight about that. But that's the XOM trade. I have no downside scenario on it. I think we're going to nail it. We've done really well so far on it. And by the way, when you're in these trades, the system that I use is I trim into the resistance, the horizontal resistance lines that are on the models, and then I add above. And then the diagonals, I do that too. I trim and then I add above. And then on your major MAs, on the big charts, the monthly and the weeklies, I trim into them too and add above. And these verticals are your time cycle completions. So when I talk about chart structure, this is what I'm talking about. Okay, the next one is Nike. Now, when I put the alert out on this swing trade, I was very clear to be very careful because it was testing structural resistance, right? In around 85.16. I think we got in the 84s. We're still in. I said that I was going to hold it tight. You've got a trading box here. This is the top of your trading box at 88.67. If you don't know how to build these models and use them properly, you can always get some trade coaching from me or go through all the videos. We have a masterclass series you can buy online. There's all kinds of different ways to do it. There's all kinds of free content. I've posted thousands of hours of free content. But anyway, this is the top of your trading box. So this is your key resistance here. Your next key resistance is up here. We're watching it. If it fails on me, it fails, and I'll get out. I was very specific that, I didn't know what would happen. This is a breakout play, and it's fine so far, but not great, but fine. It's within our plans, so we're still in it. Google's gone a little bit better than expected, actually. So these green lines, and I love when people say, too many lines on the charts. Anyway, there's an algorithmic channel here. This yellow diagonal, when you see those yellow diagonals, those are algorithmic calculated channels. In other words, we don't wait for trade to get there. We calculate where the channel should be. And it did dump in that December dump. But here's reality. It hit the target, and from the alert here, it's done fantastic. It's actually, its trajectory is much higher than the upper trajectory, most bullish scenario we had. It's got targets, and I've been very clear about this. It's got targets up in here. Its most bullish targets are 1492 June of this year. Not most bullish. Well, your most bullish is 1643. Now, where we put those trajectory lines is the scenarios we thought would play out. So our most probable targets are 1316 and down. You just follow the arrows. But this has been a great trade, and we're in it to win it. And I bet you're going to see that 1317. Okay, AMD, so Advanced Micro, this one has been phenomenal. Now, when I put out the alert on it, I specifically said I don't like the way it trades. You see how it trades? It's very sloppy. But the actual trajectory that we put out, it's just been bang on. It's used it as support. It's a really messy trader. I just don't like doing it, but I told everybody when I alerted it that I was very confident we were going to see that target. But I wasn't trading it because I didn't like this. I knew this was its nature, and that's why I didn't take the trade. But if you're willing to sit in that swing, go here, don't look at everything else, and just get out here. This has been, and it's hit the target twice, right? It hit the target early. So that's AMD. Where do you go from here? Your resistance is at 2418, where the target was, and 23 is your support. I wouldn't get too excited, but you get up over that 2418 into the time cycle into April, and then you're into some really serious potential. And you can just find the report, and that'll make it a little clearer for you. But 2884 into May of this year is very, very probable. So that's AMD. So once you learn how to read the models, there's a lot of structure there for you to work with. Twitter. So I didn't like this one when I put it out. We put some trajectories to the upside, to sideways and downside. It's trading 30.91. I hate the way it trades. This is a daily chart. Because it frustrates me so much, I put these horizontal. These are historical support and resistance areas because it's so crazy that I tried to find something that we could get that was just, some kind of structure. Anyway, the alert went out here. It was a really good trade. Got up into the 200 MA. It's come off, which makes sense. If it was functioning like a normal equity, this would be your trajectory. But I don't know that that's going to be the case. 3871 would be your target, October 30th of this year. If it got super bullish, your super bullish target is 5103. If it goes sideways in October, you'd see 26, and if it gets really bearish, well, you'd be down on 14. But anyway, that's Twitter. It's not my favorite trader at all, not even close. If you need help with it, let me know. Facebook, we've done really well on Facebook. I'm not going to say much more today other than to let you know, if you are long, the top of the trading box here and your diagonal trend line target is 175.66. This is the one that Maven's shooting for on March 7th. This is a 4-hour chart, by the way. March 7th at 4 a.m. Maven's in this one right now for a little more upside. This mid quad, she fires both ways off the mid quad, and you can see how it, it's a great way to trade this. We'll extend this model more in coming reports and give you some new targets, but for now you've got a target there, and then if it continues, you're going to see 181 or 182-ish March 14th. So that's Facebook. So I'm going to load a few more charts here and then we'll get into them. This will take 2 or 3 minutes. Okay guys, let's go into a few more of them. We're going to have to load 1 or 2 more times here. There's only so many I can load at a time. So BP, oh, by the way, I just got a message from one of you that was asking me how we get on the right side of these all the time, and it was from a new client. So you just got to do the study on these chart structures and the way that we do this. Once you know how to do this, it's a lot easier. It looks complicated at first, but it's really not complicated. And the high probability win rate that you get doing it this way will definitely reward the work. If you need help with it, just email us, compoundtradingofficial@gmail.com, and we'll find the best route for you to learn and get up to speed. There is that masterclass series. It's 20 hours of study. It does take time to learn how to do it, but man, when you're winning all the time, it's well worth it. So anyway, BP, at this point, we don't have a trigger on it. We haven't triggered. It's bullish over about 43.31. Very likely we see a target here of 47.99 into October. It just hasn't been great yet, so we haven't triggered. You can just go through the report and you'll see that there's higher targets, but this trajectory is the most probable. So there's not a huge return on it, but it might be a decent trade. So it might be something you want to consider. FireEye, F-E-Y-E. So we put out 2 scenarios in advance of earnings, an upside scenario and a downside scenario. It's tagging the downside scenario really early. It tanked after earnings, and the reality is it's just not been a good setup. So we didn't trigger on it. If it loses this area now, you're very likely going to see this 1480 into April of 2019. That's FireEye, F-E-Y-E, just not trading well yet. Now, when it does trade well, we're in it, and we'll let you know. ARWR. So this is one that I was screaming from the rooftops. We've done absolutely fantastic in it. We're just waiting for a return to this channel to get ads in, or this mid channel, this blue line here. If it gets bullish up and over, we might even add in there. But I can't tell you, how well this is done. This trajectory here was just perfect, nailed the target area, and it's continuing in the trajectory. We were looking for a double in this, and I think we were in the 14s, and it's got a target here of 32, most bullish for July of this year. What a fantastic swing trade. That's ARWR. Tesla. So I went out of my normal pattern with Tesla. I've always done really well with Tesla. Normally I'll take the support area for the long into the resistance area. It's got a nice, historical range here to work with on the daily. And it was trading up in here, I think at 318, and I said, you know what, this round I'm going bearish. I think we were in here at the time. So I was signaling that it was either there or there. But anyway, I didn't take the trade. I should have, obviously, and look at what it's done. I'm still bearish. I was specific that my targets were down in here, 230 range, and it's trading 279.47. And that's just what I see in this structure this round. Now, who knows? Just follow the arrows. Your main pivot is right here at 281.47. So anything over that 281, you've got an upside scenario. Anything under the 281, you got a downside scenario. These red dotted lines are your historical support and resistance, and then you got your trajectories. So that's TSLA. ABA. So the report that went out on this back here, I was bullish. I did take some heat for this one. It came off a bit, but I stayed in my bullish thesis, and I said, your most bullish scenario is 238 May of 2019. The way it's trading right now, this is your most probable at 205.95, and then there's another target down here. So you just follow those trajectory lines and watch your horizontal support and resistance, trim into them, add above them, and just another fantastic trade. So our hit rate this year has been extremely high, and it's not because anybody's so smart. It's that we know the structures of the instruments. Microsoft, I said I wasn't really keen on. It's testing previous highs. I didn't see it getting over, and it did come off. Now it's coming back, and I'm watching it very close. So what am I doing with Microsoft? This is a breakout potential trade, and I'm watching it for over top of its previous highs. I'm just loading up some other charts. I'll be a few minutes. Okay, so we got another batch loaded up here for you. It's going to require one more batch after this. So Microsoft we already covered. I'm just watching Microsoft. I don't have any specific plan. I might trade the breakout on it. EXP, so Eagle Materials was another one. On EXP, I was looking for a trigger down, and this is a magnified portion of the model that's in the report. I was looking for a trigger, and here's an example. I was looking for this the support line here, the green line, and this is a great example of trying to be too perfect down to the penny. It got away on me. So I didn't take the trigger, but I was spot on in terms of the bounce, but the bulls took it too early on me. So I'm not in it, but you can read the report if you're thinking about trading it. This is Eagle Materials trading 79.26, and its resistance is this dotted blue line here. So just be cautious. It's got that, it's got a trading box resistance, and it's got the 200 MA, and that's not very far away. So the first leg of this trade is almost done. It should come back and then go again. So on the retrace, you're probably going to see 75.70 area, 75.80, and then go again. But take a look at the report. There's not a lot to say on this one. I've missed the trigger, so I'm just not, I'm not going to do anything with it right now. Apple 175.22, one of the better traders in terms of the model. The direction here off of this mid-quad bounce was spot on. It's run the full range now, so it's hit its target. The grays are your mid-quads. Anyway, bottom line is it's run the full range, and I wouldn't do anything with it unless it gets above. It gets above where it is right now, so it's in that test area. You can easily trigger along, watch these resistance points, trim into them, and add above them. And your target now is going to be in the 200.56 range. And if you were to chart that out, and I haven't, you would come in June of this year. Now that's its most bullish scenario. I would not expect that. If you do get up and over and holds and it goes, I would expect this target. So it's just not drawn in here, but if there was a target on this chart lower, it'd be in at 191.01. I'd call that the most probable if Apple gets over this zone and runs. However, it may retrace, and your target then becomes here, right, to the first green, and then if real bearish scenario down to the gray. So again, if you have any questions about these models, because I'm flying through them really quick, go ahead and email. And when you see the video, you can always, relook at everything. And I'll have notes in the report with the video. But I wouldn't get too excited about this unless it holds that area. It gets up and over where it is right now and holds it. It's got to hold that, especially on a weekly candle. Really important for end of week. So we'll see. This one's really important for the markets, so I'm watching close. AGN, so when the markets tanked, this just didn't do well. I had put out a report on this one that I wanted to see. This is a 240-minute chart, by the way, that I wanted to see an upside target, most bullish scenario in, what is the number there, 203. Sorry, this monitor, I got to reset up these monitors because this one's too far away. It did hit the second most bullish target, and then it came off. And so I was trimming up in here and trimmed all the way down. I haven't re-hit, and I don't know if I'm going to. I was hoping this would do a lot better. It's at the bottom of the channel now, so it might be time, but I was really confident this one was going to go. So this is one this year. Well, this is actually from late last year that just hasn't worked. It was working, and then they messed it up. All kinds of poor sentiment and poor news came out on it. Okay, AKS. So this is not the easiest trader. This is AK Steel. We have a potential trajectory here that we outlined on the daily. It's just not a great trader so far. We'll see how it does. My only point on AK Steel is I'm starting to watch because we think that support might be coming in here. But it hasn't been great, and I don't know that we're going to do anything with it. So you'd have to go into the report. There's a report on that one too. Netflix. So Netflix trades really structured in the model. Easily blew up into this target, no problem. Killed this target, no problem. It's a target hitter, but right now it's right underneath. So this is a bigger structure. It's a daily chart. It's right in its support of the trading box. Pretty serious place for it. Our target right now is 4, and it's got to hold this trajectory or it's in trouble. 385.19, and that comes in at the end of May. But if it doesn't hold this green line and support the trajectory on that, then you can expect one of the 2 lower targets. So either the sideways target or the lower. But anyway, I think we're going to get it. And then, you know, once we're past that time cycle, we'll see. And everything comes in to that time cycle in all the markets mid-May to the 3rd week of May. So it'll probably get there, and after that, I'm not sure we'll rechart it. American Express. So this one has been fantastic. This model was a funky model, but it is what it is. And so American Express, AXP. By the way, if you're a new member, make sure you read the email from Jen for your onboarding. Really, really close for me. A number of newer clients didn't quite read through it real close. It's the specific onboarding email. Just make sure that you let that one, give that one the time. But we've pretty much got most new folks onboarded at this point. I just wanted to put that note out quick. Jen was jabbing me on that. Okay, so American Express, you know, what can I say? I mean, it fired off of the trigger here, and it's pretty much got to the target super early. I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, it just fired. So right now, it's, you know, it's a no man's land. I wanted to mention this because I had 2 different people ask me if I thought it was still going to get to target. Yeah, but the thing is, it got most of the way there, and it got there super early, right? I mean, for American Express, that's a pretty vicious, you know, down and up. But anyway, yeah. So good trade. Would I still be in it from where we fired? No, because most of it's done, right? Okay, so that's American Express. A few more here. And by the way, you can always email us if you want us to take a look and try and build a model for something you're looking at. No problem. One of the newer members there asked about natural gas. Jen will do her best to dig up the ones that we've done in past for it. Yeah. We've had some of our clients have really good success with natural gas. Sean, the celebrity chef, he trades it all the time, and a few other members do. So I'll try and put you in the right direction. But anyway, if there's anything else that you guys want, just email us compoundtradingofficial@gmail.com, and we'll get you what we can if we have it in inventory. If not, we'll even work with it and try and build it. Our goal is to build models for all the equities so that our coding staff can build the software for them. The thing is, you know, our trajectory of development time, you know, the first one 2 years, we're hoping the next 3 take 1 year, and then, you know, we want the development time to go, you know, closer to 6 months. Anyway, Morgan Stanley, I don't really like it. It's not a great trader, but I wanted to bring to your attention that it is at the support channel and that it has a most bullish target up in here. This is the algorithmic channel that we had outlined for the report, and so far it's, you know, it kind of slipped, but it's holding. This is a big weekly structure. It probably will hold. It probably will get to its upside target in the 75 range. That's for 2021, by the way. But it's just not one that I'm going in. But it's in play, it's in structure, and if that's the type of thing you like, it'll probably do well for you. Delta Airlines completely fell apart. It was following the structure. We didn't trigger on the trade because it was getting up into the top of the trading box resistance. We were going to trigger up in here, and right there it failed. So right now it's just sideways, and it's turned into a dog. But it was, you know, for the people that did trigger when the report came out, they did well. You just got to watch these trading boxes, man. They're heavy resistance, and sure enough. So that's Delta Airlines. No plan for it right now at all. Bank of America, here again, no plan for it at all. From the report, it fired really well, and now it's getting into resistance and not so well. If I had to give you a guess, you're going to see this target 36.67 July of 2019. I think you're still going to see some upside, but I'm not real excited about it. If it doesn't get bullish and get up over the main resistance at 30.43, then you've got 30.43 target in for July. So it could stay in this structure right here. So that's Bank of America. And that's all we're going to cover for today. So those are the trades. I'll put out a report tonight on these. I'll put out the video on it. I'll go into great detail on them all. For the afternoon, I'm going to leave the oil trading model in the room. And we're going to be in the room until 2:30. We're going to take time off from 2:30 until futures. We'll check in with you at futures tonight, and then we're going to be coding from 8 p.m. to 12 every night now. And then you can expect us to be very, very active from midnight tonight forward in oil specifically with the software. I mean, you can expect us to be very active. We've got all the coding updates done, the serious ones. Now we're still going to update daily. And we've got the trade protocols coming out tonight. So we're in a place where it's going to get active. It's taken a little bit longer than I thought it would, but we're there now. So you can be ready for that. And any other questions, make sure you send me on email. You guys have a great day, and I'll be in here until 2:30, and then I'll see you tonight.